Okay, so in the last half hour of our 2 hours together here, I want to share with you what my divine team gave me under the heading Desire in its Purest Form. And we've touched on quite a bit of it already, but I want to share it in the purity with which I received it. So I'm going to read it because it's one that I wrote, didn't record. A desire in its purest form arises along with the inner knowing that the desire is already complete in your vibrational reality and is ready to be allowed into your physical reality whenever you are ready. The journey to the manifestation of the desire is not one of effort and one of waiting, but one of allowing. To manifest and to allow, your work is simply to remain in the vibration of that desire, knowing that it is complete. When you truly know that something is complete, you prepare for its arrival in your experience with excitement and joyful expectation. It feels certain, yet you are not attached to how it will actually look when it arrives. You do have the option. This was really powerful to hear. You do have the option of insisting that your manifestations show up in a specific way because you are indeed the creator of your own reality. But, this is a powerful but when you insist that it look exactly the way your limited human mind conjured up, you disallow the vast potential of the universe. Instead, you can rest confidently in a sense of well-being, knowing that it will unfold in the way that you conjured up, or something even better. You allow the universe to do its thing, orchestrating the relevant components, people, and resources to deliver your desire to you in the most delightful way. You know that it is complete, not in the future, but in the present moment. It is complete. Rather than your focus being on the channel of your present experience, your focus is tuned into the channel of your desire, viewing the movie of how it feels when it is complete. You are so tuned in to that channel and that reality that your entire vibe and your entire being feels like it is done and you are already living it. Remember what you are waiting for. This is powerful. Remember, whatever you are waiting for, you are actually waiting with. And whatever you are allowing is catapulting towards you. I'm just going to let that sit for a second. I'm going to let that sit for a second. All right, so let's go now for the presence of desire versus flowing with the frequency of your desire. This was a new awareness for me a while back, and it's serves as a good preface for the 3 quickie pathways for remaining in the vibrational frequency of your desires. So when we are in because this whole entire experience is really more about less of the forcing of desires, trying to make something happen, trying to get somewhere, trying to get something, and just have desires be a natural flowing thing in your life. It arises, you enjoy it, you match the frequency naturally. You match the frequency naturally without effort, like effortlessly and naturally. And we'll talk about that in a moment because it's become just a natural thing for me now. So, there's my desire. That would be cool to experience. But I know any experience would be cool, even when it doesn't feel cool immediately, because it'll feel cool later when I realize what expansion this gave birth to, you know? So in the natural frequency of your desire, just from my own personal experience, there is also this natural disallowing. And I don't know that I like that word because people attach effort to that, right? There's this natural disallowing of the arising of old thoughts and patterns and actions and ways of being and the old vibrational frequencies. It's not like you're hammering it out of your experience. That's what happens with a lot of law of attraction folks, is they're hammering stuff out of their experience with process, right? And there's some value to process, certainly value to process, because we are heavily conditioned to live a certain way and heavily conditioned in so many ways that processes and visualizations and all of those things serves its purpose because it helps us to uncondition those ways of being, right? When we have those practices and processes, it causes us to become unconditioned. And that was part of my path as well. So there's nothing bad about doing a lot of processes and procedures and all that. But this is not where we're at in this experience. So it doesn't happen, the disallowing doesn't happen by forcing it out and processing it out and visualizing it out, trying to make something happen. It's not by force, not by trying to make something happen, but again, by this there's this, for me anyway, there's this inner knowing and certainty that it's done. So when the desire arises, I'm already aware, oh, that's so done. Did y'all get that? It's like, that's so done. It's so done that I can now move into the celebration of the fact that it is done. And so when I move into the celebration of the fact that it is done, it naturally disallows the old vibes from arising. And it may, even when it does arise, it's like, oh, please, that's so done. That's kind of how it happens for me. It's like, I remember you, but this is so done. It's like this playful thing is like, oh, I remember that old thought that used to come up, but this is so done. So in the awareness that it is done, it's kind of like how in the awareness of who you are, attachment naturally dissipates. In the same way, the knowing that it is done naturally disallows those other things that are arising. And again, it's a knowing. It's not like a belief. I believe this is done. This is a lot of belief comes from that mental effort, right? And that's it's like, I have faith that this is done. I believe that this is done, which is very different from your whole being knows this is done. It's like this beingness of doneness, if that makes any sense. And it's this beingness of doneness that makes it feel like, yeah, this is done, So let me say the second part of that, and then I'll go to your comments. So how do you know that you're in a vibe of indecision? I haven't yet decided that this is done. I haven't yet decided that this is done. So I'm being a little bit indecisive here, which we all go through that. But in that indecisiveness, your desires are being blocked. And it's okay, because you can unblock it anytime you damn well choose. We can unblock it anytime we damn well choose. So it's okay that I was blocking it a little bit there. But how do you know that you're in that vibe of indecision? I haven't decided that this is actually done. It happens when you're saying things like, where is it? Why has it not happened yet? How long is this going to take? Why is this taking so long? I did everything that I can and it's still not here. On my old YouTube channel, that video that has, I think, almost 100,000 views or something like that, that three ways, I forget the name of it now. Y'all know that one. Three signs that something is about to manifest. I can't even remember the thing. People constantly talk under that video about, okay, somebody just posted this the other day. I experienced all the three signs, but it hasn't happened yet. Which is interesting because if you're noticing that it hasn't happened yet, you're in a vibe of indecision that it is done. When you're in a vibe of indecision that it's not done yet, you entertain. Why isn't it happening? Why is this taking so long? Am I doing something wrong? Is there something that I'm doing that I need to do differently? But when you've decided that this is done, those thoughts don't arise. You're like, every time you think about the desire, it's like, yeah. Oh yes, baby. I'm looking forward to that unfolding. But without attachment though, it's like a playful looking forward because it might show up in a way 10 times better than what you originally felt or conjured up, as our divine team said in session 2. So in that vibe of indecision, we're vacillating back and forth. We haven't decided yet that this is done. So you can't let it in because you haven't decided that it's done. You know what I mean? It's kind of like baking bread. You're not going to slice it until you decided it's done. It's baked. It's fully baked. I can take it out of the oven now. I can slice it, right? You have the option of slicing it. Whether you choose to slice it or not is up to you. But you take it out of the oven, it's done. You can have a slice whenever you want. So when you're in that vibe of indecision, you're vacillating. Your vibe is vacillating. And those thoughts of, why am I not there yet? Why isn't it not here yet? Why have I been here so long? Why has this not happened yet? When you're in that vibe of indecision, I haven't decided that this is done yet. It's okay. It's okay. I got some this decisiveness to play out, maybe. Love yourself in it. Go look at me. Vacillating a little bit here, aren't I? Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about how to be done with the vacillating. I'm vacillating here a little bit, aren't I? Mm-hmm. So we can move back into the place of, no, I'm pretty sure this is done. Sure, this is done. And that vacillation stops when you know it's done. All right, so let me see. Any thoughts on that? Where's that landing? Where's that landing for you? Okay, hang on. I had a desire last year of speaking with you after following your channel. I wasn't sure how. I released it, and here we are. See? Whoa, I just got chills. Like the universe is going, uh-huh, exactly. Exactly. Interesting, because the energy of frustration is coming up for me. Awareness of the attachment. Ooh, energy of frustration is coming. The awareness. See, I think the energy of frustration is delicious to explore. Let's explore this. What? Right? Whereas a lot of times people say, oh, let's get you out of that. No, let's explore it, you know? Interesting, because the energy of frustration is coming up for me. Awareness of the attachment, because I'm aware that I can manifest anything that I desire, and yet I'm not consistent in my vibrational alignment, hence the indecision, wishy-washy. Love yourself there. There are some things that come up for me, desires that come up for me where I feel a little wishy-washy. So no matter how long we've been doing this dance here, it happens. And so when it does, you just go, oh, there I am. So eventually I'll move to that place where it's surrendered. And you may in the 3 quickie pathways, because that blows me out of the indecision so quickly that it's powerful, you know. So we'll talk about that next week, those 3 pathways. And I'll share the story of how those 3 pathways emerged. I was going to start to go into it, but I'll leave that for next week. So let me continue on. So interestingly, hence the indecision wishy-washy, like being able to pay the bills and feed myself, That's an area of concern. I can have the ability to manifest immense lack, LOL, and then another week manifest some level of abundance and be able to do those things. Yeah. How do I create consistency? That will be answered in great detail next week. But to give you a short answer of how to create consistency, and I'll repeat this next week for the benefit of moving into those pathways. What shifted for me was this awareness that the unfolding of my desires and the allowing of my desires doesn't come from a moment in time, like visualizing, a moment in time, like doing a process. It comes from this expanded awareness of where I am moment to moment, but not like they do it with law of attraction craziness. You know, it's just when it arises, like you're probably aware of when the thought about that desire arises, right? That's a present moment arising. Like you just said, frustration is coming up for me. So what happens for me, oh, I'm totally lighting up right now. That's how they send me confirmation is, what happened for me is this first, was this awareness, oh, a process isn't how stuff unfolds. It's a process is how I tune up, right? A process is how I uncondition myself, right? Because some people really need to be in the process, okay? And if you need to be in the process, it's totally fine. Go to my old channel. There's all kinds of process, okay? Because some people aren't here yet in this, second to third way of living, okay? Because this is what this experience of desire is about, is how can we look at desire from a more expansive way of being rather than how do I get my desire with a process? How do I manifest this with a thing? Give me the steps and I've expanded beyond that experience. And so this experience that I'm hosting is in alignment with this expansion that I have experienced. So your question, and how do you create consistency? I'll show you next week. It'll be beautiful. I'll actually have you guys do this with me and feel into it, because the feeling is so freaking awesome. But it started with the awareness that, oh, I allow moment to moment. It's not, I did my visualization. I did my 10-minute visualization and my vision board. So therefore I'm allowing, because we mistakenly think that's how it is. But that helps to tune us up and gets us on the path to allowing. So there's nothing wrong with that. But when you expand your awareness to this living of life is a moment-to-moment experience. It's not, here I am now, bad me, or here I am now, I'm frustrated, here I am now, It's the awareness of where I am, and then making the decision to shift in that moment. I used to shift by going to a process. Now I have this moment-to-moment thing that I do, and I'll explain it more fully next week because I want to end now. And I'll go into those 3 quickie pathways next week. That's where we will begin. And I'll share with you guys how this came up for me. I'll also share with you how I experience it. And then I'll invite you to experience it and then share what that experience was for you. It would have been perfect in this moment where you experience frustration, but I want to fully explain it and give it its due time. So I'll do that. Definitely, we'll do that. Self-love, loving myself through the navigation of my vibes. Yeah. I mean, all your divine team is doing is loving the hell out of you, no matter where you are, loving the hell out of you. Vacillating. So let me go back to so that's exactly what I'm doing with the desire. Oh, okay. So you're vacillating with the desire of financial abundance. Yeah, that's totally fine. Totally fine. You just go, here I am, vacillating. This is what I do. I do the dance of vacillation for now, and then I'll expand. What? Later. And I'll share much more with you next week on that. We'll complete on this note. Everybody breathe. Let me just check in with my team for how to complete our experience today. All right, they just want to share a message, so I'll just let that happen. Wow, that's cool. I'll just flow with what I'm hearing. Please know that every single one of you that are experiencing this in the moment, in the live experience, or afterward, each of you is so powerfully on the path to moving out of that vacillation that frustrates you. What we want for you to end with today, oh my God, I just lit all the way up. What we want for you to end today is moving into that inner knowing that that experience of predominant vacillation will begin to dissipate for you speedily. As we end this session today, as we end this session today, we're inviting you into the knowing of this. And within the next week, live in the knowing that all of the vacillation that you have done is coming to completion. I'm just so lighting up right now. Oh my God. Is coming to completion. And we want you to rejoice in this new level of expansion that you are entering. Know that you are about to experience this in a way that you have never experienced it before. You might even begin to experience this before the next session. Know this, know this, know this. You are here because you were ready to complete your experience with the ongoing vacillation. We knew that you were ready, so we brought this into your experience. Wow. Wow. Guys, I felt that. That just saturated. I don't know where you guys are at, but that just saturated my being. Hang on, I'll be still and see if there's more. All they're saying is move into the knowing now, moving to the knowing now. This is your period of, this is where you enter a new period of experience with your desire. Know this now. Move into this knowing now. Move into this knowing now. Make this a knowing and move into this knowing now. There is nothing to wait for. Move into this knowing now. Wow. I'm just going to sit with this for a minute, y'all. I'm coming down. I'm coming down from that high. Wow. That was powerful for me to experience. I felt that in every aspect of my body. Oh, okay. I love them. It is already done. Yes, thank you. It's done. This is complete for you. You wouldn't be here if you were going to continue that. And even if, I mean, I have vacillation periods too, but it is not predominant for me. It is, I just had this shrinking of that experience. It just, right? And we'll talk next week about those 3 ways of pathways to instantly, moment to moment. And what happens is when you're instantly moment to moment shifting very effortlessly, and it's fun, and it's juicy, and it doesn't feel like process, it feels like beingness, you know, and when you're there, everything changes around you because life is a moment to moment experience, even though process helps you uncondition, you know? Wow. So wonderful. Thank you. Indeed, indeed, indeed. we will end on that note, guys. Ah, man. I'll probably sit in this seat for a moment and come down from this high, because as they were coming through with that message, it just felt, it was so strong that my whole body was vibrating. Breathe, breathe. I'll probably take about 10 minutes of stillness after this is complete. But thank you all for, God Almighty, for being a part of this. Oh my God, there are things about to unfold here that I honestly did not anticipate. Even the 3 quickie pathways for remaining in vibrational frequency of your desire, didn't anticipate. The clarity of that was so strong for me, because it's a way of being for me now. Because a lot of what we share with others it's a lot of the way of being that we end up sharing with others creates tremendous clarity, you know. And this way of being, in my wanting to share it with you, created tremendous clarity for me as well. I'm experiencing it in a whole different way that I didn't experience it before I was called to articulate it. It's a beautiful thing all around for sure. All right, y'all, we are complete. I will see you in a week. I think our next session will be our final session. If anything comes up for you around desire that feels unanswered this week, please write it down and bring it into next week's session. And we will just have Q&A with my divine team on anything that feels unanswered. So next week will be the 3 quickie pathways for remaining in vibrational frequency and the desire for money. And in that desire for money, I'll be sharing a 30-minute convo with my divine team on the desire for financial security. So we will flow with what is flowing. But I think next week will be our last, unless you guys come with a lot that you want to feel clarity on. And if you do, we'll just go with whatever arises then. That's it for now, guys.